In our last class we saw horizontal distribution of power tends to the concept of expansion of democracy. Expansion of democracy is possible because of horizontal distribution of power. Now we are going to see vertical distribution of power, in which what happens to vertical distribution of power? It deepens the democracy. Deepening of democracy can be found vertical division of power. You are all aware, India, our country, we have a government for entire India that we call union government or federal government or central government. Central, federal, union. They are all headed by whom? The Prime Minister, the President, Union Council of Ministers. It's one setup. And India we have 28 state governments. 28 state governments and 9 union territories. India has 28 state governments and 9 union territories. These state governments headed by the CM, Governor, State Council of Ministers. In the union territory, except New Delhi and Pondicherry, these two union territories have Chief Minister. New Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Pondicherry Mr. Narayanaswamy. Rest of the union territories, they have no assembly. So, we have two types of government here, central government and state government. Besides, we have what government? We have central government, state government and local government also. Under local government, there are two divisions. What are they? Rural and urban. Under rural, there is lowest level Gram Panchayat, Mandal Panchayat and Jilla Panchayat. In urban, we have, what are they? Municipality and municipal corporation. Bengaluru is a municipal corporation where there will be a mayor and corporates will be there. If a municipality is there, there will be a chairman and councillors will be there. So, we have so all these divisions of power only for the purpose of deepening of democracy. So, federal government, state government, local government, in which rural and urban, Gram Panchayat, Mandal Parishad, Jilla Parishad, it's for rural, and moreover urban, where municipality, municipal corporation, for military people, cantonment. So all those things are here only for the purpose of what? Serving the people. So there are many countries where there are no provincial or state governments at all. It's not that every country must have. It's not a mandatory. Take the case of America. America has only president. There is no prime minister. In Britain, they have prime minister. There is no president in place. Queen is there. But in India, no queen, but we have president, prime minister. So like that, it differs from country to country. It differs from now election is going on in Russia. The Russia, Vladimir Putin is the president. If he elects this time, and he can be there for up to 2036. So first 4 years he has to. 2020, 2024, again next to 12 years he can remain. So the kind of system, this is what they want. The system, it differs from country to country. If this time this Vladimir Putin, Russian president is going to be elected and he is going to be president for till 2036. Now take a Chinese, the president Xi Jinping, he has been elected for 10 years and he can be there for lifelong also. It differs. So having said that, my children, whatever federal system we have, it's a universal one. No, it cannot be expected everywhere. You must have come across Belgium had a fantastic model. They have a separate government, community government, central government. It is in order to share the power, but that is not the case with Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, what did they do? They do only majoritarianism. So every country cannot be expected to be like another country. So this was also different levels of government. That side, the Belgium, what was refused in Sri Lanka, but whereas Belgium did it, this is called what is a federal division of power. Under this are all what do you call them, my children? Federal division of power. Under a federal division of power, the government will be segregated in the form of, for entire country, a union government. For a state, there will be a state government. Within a state, there is a local government. In the local government, rural, urban, Gram Panchayat, Mandal Panchayat, Jilla Parishad, and urban municipality, municipal corporation, cantonment for military defense people. So all those things exist only for the purpose of federal, what do you call that? Federal division of power. And this is all about what? Vertical division of power, my children. What do they call, my children? Vertical power. So what do we have to have? Because this division of power involving higher and lower levels of government, this is something important for the benefit of the people. So because it has been clearly constitutionally mandated. This is not that account, it's not anybody's whims and fancies. Constitutionally guaranteed one. Constitutionally guaranteed one. This is something followed by everybody, no matter whichever party is going to come to power, they have to follow this one. Anything which is constitutional, that must be followed. So now we are seeing what are the two divisions of government, my children? Horizontal form of government in which expansion of government, expansion of what do you call democracy. In deepening of democracy, that's all about vertical division. India, we have three systems. One is central government, state government, and local government. They are all for the purpose of what purpose, my children? In order to help the people. So having said that, now you have understood what we are going to see. So there are many social groups are there. That is linguistic groups. How Belgium came out with the community. Under a community government, so the Dutch people, French people, German people, they elected their representative in order to protect their educational, in order to protect their tradition, in order to protect their linguistic and culture. That is a must. So we must preserve, safeguard our culture so that next generation will be proud of it, my children. So like that, these are all important for the purpose of what's a good example for how a country should be. In some countries, there are constitutional legal arrangements whereby socially weaker sections and women are represented in the legislative administration. Let us see, in India, women participation is very, very low. Even in Karnataka Assembly, hardly 2 female members are there. In our parliament, hardly 8% are there. 8% female. What is it one? Even though actually they should have been given 50%. That is not the case here. They don't even give 33% also. So how can it be possible? How are you going to bring women members in the parliament and assembly? The only way is reservation. Under the reservation, what is the meaning of reservation? Last year you must have come across, but still let me brush up your mind, my children. Let me brush up your mind. Reservation is all about, suppose let us take one constituency, reserved constituency. Suppose one constituency, SC reserved constituency. SC stands for here, scheduled caste. So any party, any candidate, he must belong to only SC candidate. So anybody who is from SC community, they are alone eligible to contest, and whoever is going to be elected winner is going to be a SC. So this is what all about reservation. Similarly, women must be given 30% reservation. 33%, that is 1/3 of reservation if they are given, constitutionally mandated. From Gram Panchayat to Parliament, 1/3 of women can be found. But that is not the case now. Here, as I told you, only 2 people are in Karnataka Assembly. Why? Because the problem is they are seen as inferior. They think that patterns of society think that women are not capable of doing anything. Generally in village, of course in Gram Panchayat level, local government, reservation is given to whom? Women. The problem is the woman is not educated, and if she is not married, her husband will run the show, or her husband will run, or either husband or father will run the show, because she is not educated. She is going to chop. So as a result, that should not be the case. If a woman is educated, and she is going to be assertive, and she will not let anybody rule on her behalf. So having said that, women must be given reservation system. So these are all what do you call my children? You need what you call vertical division of power. And moreover, now we are going to see there must be lot of political parties and pressure groups and movements are there. In democracy, citizens must have freedom to choose among the various candidates of power. It is the people. People should not be influenced by money. People should not be influenced by money or muscle power. So money and muscle means what? With hooliganism, that is no way. People, whenever there is election, there must be a free and fair election should take place so that people will come out and choose the representative. If the top is clean, whatever trickles down will also clean. If the top is clean, whatever trickles down will also be clean. If we are going to choose highly educated people, committed people, people who are dedicated for the sake of the country, and the country will benefit from them. If we are not going to participate in the election, many people do not want to come and vote, and if the people who are all elected, they have lot of criminal records, and these people are going to be the rulers of the country, and what can you expect? Can you expect any better thing from them? So having said that, my children, participation of citizens must. If we choose the people, the right people, so that people will be able to what? Benefit out of them, and moreover, the competition of us now, Janata Dal is there, BJP is there, Congress is there, every party is trying their level best, and every party wants to become a ruling party. Why do they want to become a ruling party? Because the power should not remain in one hand. That's important. Power should not remain in one hand. If one party is going to rule forever, it leads to autocracy, autocrats. That means like Hitler, Mussolini, and these people will become arrogant. Not only arrogant, they will become ignorant as well as arrogant. As a result, what happened? Ultimately the country will suffer like anything. So that's the reason every time people who are willing to do good things, they must be given equal difference in their equal opportunity. So the such competition ensures that power does not remain in one hand. In the long run, power is shared among different political parties that represent different ideologies and social groups. Remember, in our parliament, if you happen to see, almost all the political parties have their own representation. That's healthy democracy. If we all belong to only one political party, and they are going to be sycophants. They are all going to be what? Sycophants. And what are the high command demands? And they will just obey. And it's not going to be a healthy one. So all the political parties must be given so that it's going to be vibrant. Not only vibrant, but also it's going to be versatile one, my children. So this kind of power sharing is direct. And suppose let us take one more example. As I told you, now we have a Congress majority. See now 543 Lok Sabha MPs. Among the 543 Lok Sabha MPs, here 272 is the majority. If any party has 272, they will be called as ruling party or treasury bench, we say. What do you call them? If you call treasury bench or ruling party, they are the people who are ruling. Now the BJP party has 303 MPs. Only from BJP itself, it has got 303. That means absolute majority they have. They have absolute majority. As a result, they will be able to do. But whereas the 2004 to 2014, when India was ruled by Manmohan Singh government, that's called, we call coalition government. What do you call, my children? Coalition government. What is the meaning of coalition government? The Congress party hardly has 200 MPs, and rest of the 72 people are supported by these Janata Dal, Communist parties, all these parties supported. As I said, it was able to reach 272. They ruled for 10 years. This government is called coalition government. This is called majority government. So these two types of government. So it is alliance. Elected. So this is what all about what, my children? This coalition government for the matter and majority government in a democracy, these are all important. It depends upon the people taste. People, if they want to be ruled by one single party, they will vote for it. If they do not want to be ruled by another party, they will want. So these are democracies that must be accepted. Even you must have come across in a book. See, my children, if you happen to page number 6, take the textbook. So the page number 6, there's the one photo is there, has been given like this. See here, what is one? One, you might have seen for German engineering. What is it one? Two political parties opposing each other. In India, how BJP and Congress, and if they come together and form a government, what happened? There will be different angle they will be pulling out. The same thing happened here also. That is not the case. There must be a perfect understanding so that the government will be able to rule the country in an effective manner. As a result, what happened? People will benefit accordingly. So having said that, my children, so now we have seen what is vertical power sharing, what is an horizontal power sharing. It's all beneficiary for that one. So remember, the power sharing among political parties, pressure groups and movements ensure what? It's important that because the political parties and pressure groups and movement ensure the influence of decision-making process in democracy, because people's choice is important. The influence, the decision-making process influences, you see, very important. If one party is going to rule forever and the decision-making process always going to be unilateral, there will be no consensus. We call consensus when something is called consensus, that means everybody agreed. Any decision you take, that must be agreed. Suppose India wants to declare a war of another country, but of another country, it has to get the permission of all the political parties. It cannot do anything on its own unilateral. So having said that, because of pressure groups, because of political parties and movements, they ensure that there will be a decision making will be what? Conducive and transparent by consensus. Regarding political parties, this sharing takes place in political competition among the different political parties. You are all aware, my children. See, now India has been first 1947 to 1971. India was ruled by only one single party, Congress party. In 1977, what happened? Janata Party, Morarji Desai came to power. Again, some other party, even 1999, 25 years, exactly 25 years. Now, 25 years before, our state, Deve Gowda was the Prime Minister of India. So these are all exact 25 years before. So having said that, my children, 1995. So having said that, I came Gujarat, Chandrasekhar, everybody came to power. These are all what you call people's choice. It may be ruled by one single party. It may be ruled by many people, political government. Ultimately, what happens? People must get benefit out of it. In the case of coalition government, what is the coalition government? The Manmohan Singh government, which was ruled by many parties together under the leaders of Congress, that's called coalition party. Under the coalition government, sharing becomes direct when two or more parties form an alliance to contest election if the alliance is selected. So it's a must. Suppose if one party does not have that majority, so it has to enter into an alliance with another party, ultimately, so that they will be able to get what require a majority number, so that they will be able to. This is what all about coalition party. At the same time, pressure group and movement influence power sharing through dharna, rallies, protests. Whenever, see, under Article 21, right to live, under Article 19, right to speak and express of ideas, these are all given by the Constitution. Whenever government is doing something, it is not liked by the people have every right to what? Do dharnas. Dharnas or rallies, because they are expressing their viewpoints in a democratic manner. They do not want to take any kind of violent activities. Dharna, rallies, this is called Gandhian method, peaceful method. Dharnas, rallies and protest and strike, these are all acceptable, and this must be acceptable. This is called what you say, dissident. Whenever dissident activities there, that may see democracy all about tolerance of disagreement. We have to agree to disagree. This is what all about a country must have. These are all important for the purpose of running government. Okay, my children. So in another way, by becoming a member of committee or planning commission, so what happened? Better policy will be created, and where there is a what you call healthy argument, ultimately who will benefit, my children? People will benefit. Ultimately who will have to benefit? People will have to benefit, and that must be kept in mind, my children. So far we have discussed what is federal division of power imply. So here we are seeing over, my children, separation of power is important. What is the separation of power? You are all aware, separation of power is all about where all the three organs are there and they have to work in a perfect manner, so that ultimately who will benefit? People will benefit. So having said that, with this we are going to come to this lesson is going to be ending, my children. So before that, I want you to learn, so I want you to what you call recapitulate. You must have seen, first they may ask you one more question. In which country is Belgium? You must say Belgium is in Europe. Name the countries which Belgium starts its boundaries. You must be in a position to say France, Netherlands, Germany and Luxembourg. And what does it mean ethnic signify? Ethnic is all about what? Social division. And what is the majority population of Belgium? You must say Flemish region. Okay, the majority of population in Belgium lives in Flemish. Dominated by whom? Dutch people. And they may ask which language is spoken in the majority of population in Brussels, the capital city of Belgium. What do we say? The French language, 80% people speak French language, you must say. In Sri Lanka, the policy of the government sought to ensure dominance of which language speaking people? In Sri Lanka, the policy of government under the Act of 1956 what? Ensure the dominance of Simhala speaking. Simhala speaking. So rest of the 13% these people and Christians, they have no say, only Simhala, that's called majoritarianism. What does the term majoritarian signify? The term majoritarian signifies that majority community should rule a country. Only majority community should rule a country, that's majority. And what is the religion of Sri Lanka? Buddhism is the religion of Sri Lanka. What is the religion? Buddhism is the religion of Sri Lanka. And when did civil war come to an end in Sri Lanka? 2009. How many times did Belgium amend its constitution regarding power sharing? From 1970 and 1993. 4 times they what? Changed one and named the third level government in Belgium. The third level government is what? Community government. You are all aware, my children. Which city was chosen as the headquarters of European Union? You must be in a position to say Brazil. The capital of Belgium is chosen as the headquarters of European Union. And what is horizontal power? Horizontal power is all about what? Already we have come across. It helps in expansion of democracy, where the three organs will have to work together. And what do you mean by vertical form of government? Where state government, central government, local government, so that democracy will be deepened, where people will have a major say in the decision making process. Very important. And what is the separation of power? Where the three organs will have to different organs of government with their specific jurisdiction. There should be no overlapping. So what is the meaning of federal division of power? Federal division of all about different levels of government like union government, state government and central government, my children. So this is what all about it, and we are going to have next lesson next, my children. All the best.